The Bodhisattva Maitreya addressed the Buddha and said, World-honored one, if the Bodhisattvas internally reflect upon and think about the mind without having yet attained ease of body and mind, what do you call that type of reflection? The Buddha answered the Bodhisattva Maitreya and said, Good son, that is not the reflection of quietude at all. Rather, it is a reflection concomitant with the commitment to quietude. World-honored one, if the Bodhisattvas, not having yet reached ease of body and mind, attentively reflect upon images as the content of inner concentration in accord with the doctrines upon which they have reflected, what is that type of reflection called? The Buddha answered, Good son, that is not the focusing of quietude at all. Rather, it is a reflection concomitant with the commitment leading to quietude. The Bodhisattva Maitreya addressed the Buddha and said, World-honored one, are the paths of quietude and vision to be described as different or identical? The Buddha addressed the Bodhisattva Maitreya and said, Good son, they are to be described as neither different nor identical. They are not different because their objective is the content known in vision. They are not identical because images for reflection are not the objective of quietude. The Bodhisattva Maitreya addressed the Buddha and said, World-honored one, are the images brought forth by all concentrations and vision to be described as different from or identical with thinking? The Buddha answered the Bodhisattva Maitreya and said, Good son, they must be described as identical with thinking. This is so because those images are nothing but ideas. Good son, I have taught that the object of consciousness is nothing but a manifestation of conscious construction only. World-honored one, Maitreya asked, if those images brought about in this manner are identical with thinking, then how can thinking reflect back and look upon itself? Good son, the Buddha answered, nothing ever looks at anything. Rather, when thinking occurs as such or such, then such and such images make their appearance. Good son, when a well-polished and clean surface of a mirror encounters a material shape, it reflects the underlying material thing, and we say not only that we see the image, but that, distinct from the material thing, the image appears as an object. In this manner, when thought arises, it seems to differ from the images that appear in concentration. World-honored one, all the images that sentient beings have, which occur because their minds encounter material forms, etc., present themselves as distinct essences. Are these images identical with thinking? Good son, they are indeed identical, even though, with their mistaken awareness, the foolish are unable to truly understand that these images are nothing but conscious constructions, and consequently misunderstand them. The Bodhisattva Maitreya addressed the Buddha and said, World-honored one, how can we describe the single-minded practice of vision of the Bodhisattvas? The Buddha answered the Bodhisattva Maitreya and said, Good son, by continuously focusing, they reflect only upon the images of thinking. How, then, Maitreya asked, world-honored one, can we describe the single-minded practice of quietude of the Bodhisattvas? Good son, the Buddha answered, by a continuous focusing, they reflect only upon thinking uninterrupted by images. World-honored one, how then can we describe the joint practice of quietude and vision of the Bodhisattvas? Good son, they correctly reflect upon the focusing on one point. World-honored one, what then are the images of thinking? Good son, they are the images for reflection brought about by concentration, the content of vision. World-honored one, what is thinking uninterrupted by images? Good son, it is the objective of quietude, the thinking which encounters those images. World-honored one, how does thought focus thinking upon one point? Good son, it is the understanding that all of the images in concentration are nothing but conscious construction. or, having already understood this, the reflecting upon suchness.